Well, it is such a great privilege to be here, really alongside so many other people who are working so tirelessly towards a shared vision of educational opportunity for all. And I have to say, I'm especially thankful to be here in Qatar, whose leadership has made just such a tremendous commitment to this vision. I've had the chance to see firsthand their dedication to improving education in their own country through our work with Teach for Qatar. And I know, I speak for all of us in saying just how inspired we all are by their incredible commitment to the least advantaged children throughout the region and the world. It is a great personal honor to have the chance to share some of what I've learned about how we can accelerate our progress toward this shared goal by fostering and spreading the innovation and leadership of teachers. Let's start by considering what we are up against. So this is Zohra Nasir, who teaches third grade girls in Karachi with Teach for Pakistan. She recently shared the story of one of her students who has an insatiable desire to understand the world. This student learns her lessons alongside the rest of the class, but then she stays after class and asks questions like, if we don't drink water from the ocean, where does the water we drink come from? And if water has no color, then why do oceans look blue? This little girl would almost certainly make an incredible scientist one day, but Zohra is keenly aware of the challenges that she and her classmates face. Most of them come to school without a foundation of early childhood education or literacy. Many are running on just one meal a day, and their schools and homes are without electricity. Their teachers may well not show up. They may be facing the expectation that they contribute to the family income, or for girls that they leave school to get married, just to name some of the challenges. In so many places around the world, children face remarkably similar hurdles. In Lebanon, Zahar Mashmoushi's students come to her from all over the region, many of them refugees from Syria, Palestine, and Egypt. In addition to the challenges of poverty, they face the trauma of conflict and the instability in their homes. And in rural China, schools can be located several hours walk from home, and students will stay in these schools for the whole week in often crowded, understaffed conditions. The teachers are often untrained. Only a handful have even high school degrees. So if we're asking every teacher to solve all of these problems using the same approaches that we've been using in schools and communities for hundreds of years, it is going to be an excruciatingly long road to realize the outcomes we seek. To accelerate progress, we need to see innovation at every level. We need new strategies to maximize the time we have with children in classrooms. We need new approaches to ensure that whole schools have the mission, culture, teaching faculty, and parent engagement to put whole buildings full of children on a different trajectory. We need new ways to advance progress across whole systems of schools. And while our schools need to be better able to meet students' extra needs, we need to take pressure off of those schools in the first place through new and better practices in healthcare, nutrition, social work, early education, and economic development. At Teach for All, we are working to cultivate a generation of innovators and leaders who will generate and spread innovation so that we can vastly improve educational and, in turn, life outcomes for children. We're supporting the development of independent organizations all over the world, now in 35 countries and growing, that recruit their country's most promising future leaders to commit 2 years to teach in their country's most marginalized communities. These organizations then support the leadership of those teachers, fostering their innovation both in the classroom and after their commitment is over, whether they stay in education or move into other sectors. We've learned a lot about what it takes to foster innovation, and what we've learned has fueled our sense of possibility for change. Let me introduce you to 3 examples of pioneering classroom leadership. This is Richard Wilson, who along with Justin Mathis joined Teach for Australia in 2011 to teach in some of his country's highest need communities. He came from a career in management consulting. Justin came fresh from completing a master's degree in astrophysics. And as they started teaching, they became very frustrated just seeing their students graduate with huge gaps in their math skills, with little that they could do in kind of a one-size-fits-all system to catch all 30 of the kids in any given class up to where they needed to be. So to address this challenge, Richard and Justin launched Math's Pathway, a full online curriculum that diagnoses students' learning gaps and creates a pathway for students to fill those gaps and advance their skills. There are video lessons, practice questions, assessments, and customized feedback that allow teachers to guide students individually through rough spots. Since launching a year ago, Math's Pathways has reached more than 4,600 students and has tripled the learning rate of its students. Now, meanwhile, a Teach for India teacher who's working in the city of Pune, Chetra Muralidhar, was determined to solve another problem. She had seen that the government teachers weren't getting the same kind of ongoing support that the Teach for India teachers were and that had benefited her so much. In fact, most of her veteran colleagues would enter the classroom and serve for years and many times even decades without any coaching at all. So she went out and designed a year-long professional development initiative for government teachers, providing intensive 2 to 4 day workshops at regular intervals throughout a school year, as well as one-on-one mentoring and coaching. The results were so good that the city of Pune asked her to scale up her endeavor to retrain more government teachers, and so she's currently working with the state government to scale the program at the district level. In the US, I saw the power of classroom innovation very early on in my now 25-year journey, which began with Teach for America, when two of the early Teach for America teachers, Dave Levin and Mike Feinberg, set out to redesign schools so that it would actually work for their low-income students. 20 years ago, they launched KIPP, the Knowledge is Power program, which met students with higher expectations, longer hours, more homework, a more engaging curriculum, more enrichment, and more support. Today, KIPP has 58,000 students in 162 schools. More than 93% of their alumni have graduated from high school. 82% have gone on to college. And to put that in context, across the US, only 60% of low-income kids will graduate from high school, and fewer than 10% will earn a college degree. Mike and Dave, Chetra, Richard and Justin are just a few of the innovators I've met around the world. And while they're developing strategies for improving classrooms and schools, I've met teachers who are also working outside of the education system to address the outside of school factors that inhibit learning. I've met teachers in Nepal who are determined to fix the water system. There's plenty of water in Nepal, but the pipes are always broken, and they see this as the biggest thing keeping their kids out of school. I've met teachers in the UK who went out and started a program to strengthen social services by recruiting some of the UK's top graduates into social work. Having seen the challenges and the progress made around the world, I've come to see that it is pioneers like these teachers, people who are rooted in the actual challenges facing children and who think ambitiously about how to meet their needs, who have the power to put us on a different trajectory. We see the accelerating impact of pioneers in the story of Roger Bannister. Before he broke the world record for running the fastest mile in 1954, many experts thought it was absolutely impossible to run a mile in under 4 minutes. Yet, in the year after he shattered that barrier, his record was broken again and again. And today, even high school athletes routinely match Bannister's time. So it took thousands of years of recorded history for one man to cross that threshold, but once he did, countless others followed suit and transformed a feat that once seemed unattainable into one that is quite common. So we can open the floodgates to expand opportunity for all by cultivating a generation of pioneers and spreading their discoveries across the world. To do this, I think we need to do three things. First, we need to enlist society's most precious resource, the minds and hearts of our most promising future leaders, to tackle this challenge. Unfortunately, it is a very rare country that channels its top talent toward expanding opportunity for its most marginalized kids. If you really think about it, all over the world, countries send their top talent everywhere else, into finance, technology, medicine, law, etc., but not towards ensuring that our children fulfill their true potential. The 35 organizations in the Teach for All network are working to change that by recruiting outstanding recent college graduates of all different academic majors, all different career interests, as aggressively as other sectors do. In the US and the UK, where these programs have been running the longest, they have in fact succeeded in channeling not just a little, but a lot of their nation's top talent in this direction. Each year, more than 5,000 of the US's most talented graduating seniors commit to Teach for America. And in the UK, just 11 years into its development, Teach First is the nation's largest graduate recruiter. We're seeing similar effects now in 35 other countries, including here in Qatar with Teach for Qatar. The Teach for All network is growing rapidly, but of course, it is only one part of the solution. We need a system-wide push to strengthen the recruitment of our most promising future leaders into the effort to expand opportunity for all children. Second, we need to cultivate the innovation of these teachers and their capacity to drive change, first by helping them succeed with their own students, both for the sake of the students and because of the lessons that come from their success with those students. And then we need to help them reflect on their experiences and think about the root causes of the problem they're confronting. You know, I think all the time about our visit last year when members of the Teach for All community went to Shanghai to try to understand what was behind their kind of incredible success in terms of both equity and excellence on the PISA results. And the thing that really struck out the most to all of us was the realization that they were spending 30% of their teachers' time within every school on professional development. In fact, Richard and Justin, Chetra, Dave and Mike all benefited immensely from intensive ongoing training and support, including coaching from other teachers. Having that support helped unlock creativity and ultimately led them to new solutions. Third, we need to create avenues for these innovators to scale their ideas and learn from each other across borders. This means identifying the most successful innovations happening in classrooms and schools around the world and investing in them so that these ideas can spread and scale. Across the Teach for All network, we've learned that though we work in very unique and very diverse contexts, there are remarkable similarities in the nature of the challenges facing the world's most marginalized kids. And while that can seem very daunting because you start seeing so many similarities around the world and realize that we are fighting the forces of gravity, there's an incredible silver lining. It means that we can share from each other. You know, given the similarities in the nature of the issues, you know, the solutions are shareable. So events like this WISE Summit are accelerating progress by building platforms for pioneers to tell the world what they're doing, to connect with potential supporters and collaborators, and to spread their ideas across borders. Just as another example, Gaurav Singh was a member of the first group of Teach for India teachers. He visited a KIPP school in the US during a global conference with Teach for All and was determined to bring those practices back to the context of India. And with the help of KIPP and Teach for India and its network of supporters, he launched the 321 school, which he envisions as the first of 100 such schools across India, learning and demonstrating what's possible. This school is still very early in its development. It's serving about 250 kids who live in the slums of Mumbai. They arrive at the school literally off the streets, speaking 16 different languages. By the time they're in first grade, they are reading and speaking and writing fluently in English. They're on the front end of a trajectory to gain the academic and the character skills necessary to attend some of the most selective colleges in the world. So Gaurav shows us the power of leadership, innovation, and cross-border learning. We can cultivate a worldwide leadership force of pioneers like Gaurav who will work at every level of the education system and across sectors, people who are deeply rooted in an understanding of the local context, in the possibility of success, and in the nature of the solutions, and who are learning from innovations from across the world. This is what fuels my optimism that we can realize a world where all children have the opportunity to attain an excellent education. It will take the energy of a generation or more, but by cultivating pioneering leadership among those who have the insight and conviction that comes from teaching our most marginalized children, we can build a world where inquisitive and diligent little girls like Zohra's students, no matter where they're from, can become scientists and entrepreneurs and diplomats and engineers. So, thank you.